Hi, welcome to Personal Beauty Products and Hormone Balance, EDCs or estrogen disrupting chemicals and their impact on a women's hormone systems. My name is Cindy Lockhart and I'm an integrative and functional nutritionist. I'm excited to share this topic with you today. When we think of hormone imbalance, we tend to blame our genetics or failing internal systems. However, there's a huge environmental impact coming from what we're ingesting, inhaling, and absorbing in the environment. Ingestion can come from our food in regards to the hormones, the pesticides, and the antibiotics that disrupt hormones, as well as from medications such as oral contraceptive pills and hormone replacement therapy. Through inhalation, that be inhaling scents and fragrances, and absorbing is the personal beauty products that we're applying to our bodies every day. Think of our skin. It's our largest organ and it's very permeable. It's actually our barrier to the outside world. And so we can absorb chemicals and toxins directly into the bloodstream, which then get deposited into our organ systems. These toxins do accumulate over time because we lack the enzymes that help us break them down. Also, the unhealthier our skin, the drier we are, the more cracked our skin is, the more eczema or hives or rashes we have, that has broken the barrier. So we're more apt to absorb these chemicals and toxins directly into our bloodstream. So what are we talking about today in regards to personal products? Skincare, hair care, cosmetics, deodorants, hand soaps and lotions, body wash, and even sunscreen. So what's the reality? The average woman uses 12 different products a day. When she leaves in the morning, she's got over 150 different chemicals on her body. The average adolescent, who remember is still developing and growing, is using 17 products a day. And just in comparison, men, they use on average 6 different products. So think about our age. Think about how long we've been using these products. It's no wonder that 40-year-old women are really struggling because it's been accumulation over time and they get to this perimenopausal state where their hormones are already fluctuating like a roller coaster, and we've added on this environmental assault. They're battling perimenopause, weight gain, that they can't lose weight or body fat, hormonally based conditions and cancer, and even early menopause. So what's the health impact? 1 in 3 women will be diagnosed with cancer sometime in their lifetime. 1 in 8 will be diagnosed with breast cancer. That's in comparison to just 40 years ago, the statistic was 1 in 20. So it's not genetic. Genetics don't change. In fact, 90% of women don't have the mutation in the BRCA gene. That means it's environmental. There's also certain chemicals in these products that mimic estrogen and disrupt our hormone balance. We'll be talking a little bit more in depth today about phthalates and parabens, but another ingredient to be aware of is fragrances. That is a proprietary trade secret that manufacturing companies do not need to legally disclose what is in them. And they can contain in and of themselves over 3,000 chemicals. Some of the hormonally based conditions that I was mentioning is, remember that estrogen is stimulating to our tissues, our female tissues. So if we have too much estrogen in our body, that can increase our risk for endometriosis, uterine fibroids, ovarian cysts, fibrocystic breasts, breast and ovarian cancer, as well as obesity. Toxins are fat loving, so they're seeking out fat and creating more fat for us to deposit and store them in our bodies. Also, infertility. Difficulty conceiving and maintaining a pregnancy has impacted 40% more women in 2002 compared to just 20 years earlier. And the current stats today are about 20% of women of childbearing age having difficulty with infertility. In regards to chemicals, there are more than 85,000 chemicals currently registered for use in the United States. 80% of those that are used in personal products have never been tested for human safety. There's not even been a federal law passed that governs the personal care industry since 1938. The FDA is the federal agency that oversees this industry, just like pharmaceuticals. However, unlike pharmaceuticals, they don't require cosmetic ingredients to first be assessed for safety before the product hits the market. And in fact, FDA is only banning 30 ingredients in these products. And that's in comparison to the European Union, who's always ahead of us in the game of health and safety. They're banning over 1,400 ingredients. So let's talk phthalates and parabens. Phthalates are plasticizers that make plastics more pliable and flexible. This can be found in hairspray, perfume, lotion, nail polish, scented soaps, shampoo, and cosmetics. They help fragrances last longer, lotions penetrate and soften the skin better, nail polish to bend so it stays on our nail bed, and hairstyling products to be more malleable. The problem is they block the signaling pathways for hormones, thus disrupt our hormone pathways. When we look at these beauty products ingredient list, you can look for DBP or DEHP, or even the word fragrance could indicate that they have phthalates in them. But remember that it's also in the packaging, which can leak into the product that we're using as we put that on our bodies. Parabens are preservatives used to prevent the growth of bacteria and mold. So they're going to be found primarily in skincare products, lotions, cosmetics, and hair care products. These are estrogen mimickers. They're exerting an estrogenic activity by inhibiting an enzyme called 17-beta HSD2, which prevents the inactivation of E2 or estradiol. So that actually increases the local concentrations of estradiol in our bodies. Ingredients are a little bit easier to detect, that you will see paraben in the name, such as methylparaben or butylparaben. So that's the bad news. What's the good news? What can we do to protect ourselves? We do live in a toxic world. It's not realistic or feasible to be 100% toxin-free, especially when we're talking about these beauty products. So some things that we can do is check the ingredient list and avoid the following. Any ingredient that has the word paraben in them, fragrance, perfume, a recycle code number 3. So if you see that little triangle with a number 3 in it, that means that there are phthalates in that packaging. And don't rely on an all-natural label. All-natural does not mean safe and chemical-free. Look for a product label that does state phthalate and paraben-free, and go to ewg.org. So that's a nonprofit organization, environmental working group, and go to their Skin Deep database. We'll look at a few screenshots on the next few slides so you can see the impact that you can have by using this really critical resource. In regards to lifestyle, sweat. Remember, our skin is our largest organ, and if we can sweat out a lot of those toxins and chemicals, even heavy metals that are getting into our bloodstream. A dry sauna is a great way to regulate that sweating. Otherwise, regular exercise to the point where you're actually sweating. And if you don't sweat, I do have clients that say they don't sweat. That means they are having a detoxification challenge. So they need added support for detoxification. In regards to the diet, increase fiber and phytonutrients. For women, I recommend 25 to 35 grams of fiber a day at minimum. And that's in comparison to the average American eating 10 to 15 grams. So we have a ways to go, but it is easy to do it as long as you're going through the right avenues of what foods to select and which foods to avoid. Phytonutrients, those are our protectors against all oxidative stress and free radicals. These are our plant nutrients. Aim for 50% of your plate coming from colorful, non-starchy vegetables. More vegetables than fruit, as one serving of fruit has 3 times as much natural sugar as one serving of vegetables. I always recommend a 3-to-1 ratio of vegetables to fruit. Here's EWG. So you can see that you can select makeup, skincare, hair, nails, and drill down to the specific item that you're looking for recommendations on. From there, you can actually enter in the product that you're using or maybe that you've heard about and get a gauge for how do they rank it. Or look at what they're recommending. What are their approved products because of safety? And they will have rankings of red, yellow, and green. And you can see that you can click right on that image, in this case that's 6, and get more detail as to what are those chemicals and why was it rated a 6. So really great resource, a lot of information, and it is free. So in closing, as women, we want to both look and feel good, which means we're going to rely on beauty products to help us achieve this goal. It's just a fact. As practitioners, it's our job and our goal to educate female clients on the impact of environmental toxins, not only on our hormone balance, but also on our health risks. So it's important to continue your own education and research on this topic. Have a handful of great resources that you can share with your clients and walk the talk. It's really difficult to encourage others to do something that we ourselves are not doing. So with that, I thank you and I wish you luck and a happy personal product shopping.